Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Test, test. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Okay. All right. Test, test. Let's see what these guys are. I'm driving. Well, that's not good. Okay. What about you, Khalil? This is super late. Killing me with this one. Killing me softly with this one.
Hey man, I'm in Hangouts.
Okay. I'm not showing you in here. How long have you been in?
A couple seconds, so it might just be
Okay.
coming in now. So.
All right. I see you now.
Oh, there we go.
All right, and then I see an auto text from Eddie saying that he's driving.
All right.
Were you able to connect with him at all today?
No. Let me see. I haven't spoken to him today.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just got a text about him driving.
I'm gonna call him right now.
Yeah, these late sessions are no bueno, man.
I appreciate you working with me, man. Hey, Eddie. Hey, man. You ready for the call? Oh, I got you. All right. What do you think about like 5 minutes or so? Okay. All right. Yeah, he said he was on the way home and got stopped, pulled over by the cops. So he said he's about 2 minutes from his house. So he's getting in and getting on the computer.
Black man syndrome.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Now, as I mentioned, like I said, these later ones are a little tougher for me. I've got a hard stop at 9:30 tonight. Normally, with our normal calls, like you'll be able to get your full hour and probably a little over that. But just tonight is like I said,
Hello?
it's kind of late. Can you hear me?
You there?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Did I lose you? And it looks like
I can hear you now. You just blacked out. Like I didn't see or hear anything for like a good 30 seconds.
well, yeah, it was showing you, but your thing was frozen, so I'm not sure what that might have been. All right. I was saying like, tonight is a little bit of more of an exception in the sense of I have a pretty hard stop at 9:30.
Okay.
Normally, we'll be able to do your full hour and then some in a lot of cases. But this in this case specifically, again, it's a little bit later. Once we can kind of move over to this, the AM calls, that'll be a million and one times better. But of course, as you've seen, I do offer obviously the email support. You have access to the membership area and whatnot. So I'm going to make sure you have everything you need. It's just late nights like this are tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and call you on my phone because it keeps blacking out. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Um. Hey.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Eddie. Hey, can you hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, I went ahead and muted my volume because Khalil ended up having to call me. I guess he's having some sort of audio issue, or the stream. He was having some difficulty, so we were just calling on the phone. But maybe it seems like it's working now.
Yeah, it seems like it's flowing right now.
Okay, cool. Let me kill the call. Okay. Cool. So yeah, the mid ticket, yeah, mid high ticket, you can do it. You can run Google Ads, or Google Shopping ads, and you can kind of be an alternative. Google Shopping ads are good. Trying to get
You
into
just
buyers.
went out. I didn't hear what you just said. It just went out again for some reason.
Okay. Hey, Eddie, can you hear me okay? Are you having any issues with the stream?
Yeah, it might be something on my end for whatever reason. I don't know why. Not sure why it's doing that.
And it only starts when the audio is on.
You just went out again.
It seems like this is only happening when the audio is happening.
Yeah. I'm gonna just, if you don't mind, Michael, I'm just gonna call you again to keep messing what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. I guess we'll figure it out. And just okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're gonna have to mute your
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
your audio so it doesn't go crazy.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. How's this now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Everybody good?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. So, like, what I'll say is this. One of the very first things that we're going to do before we even get deeper into, site design and some of the, creating the core architecture and whatnot, really want to spend some time talking about how to actually do what I call ecom hacking. Right, this is one of the most powerful things you can do. It's definitely something that's going to significantly shortcut your success, and that is literally, you want to find your top competition right now, people selling your stuff right now, see what their approach is, what they're selling. That way, you can take some of the best elements of their marketing, some of the best elements of their product pages, their sales funnels, their whole setup, and start to incorporate some of those things on your own. The key here being is, I always use the analogy, which came first, Burger King or McDonald's?
True. I think McDonald's came first.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. They sell the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? But, let's say Burger King came second, right? Well, if McDonald's kicked the door down for, cheap hamburgers that are in a drive-through, Burger King just showed up and said, hey, I'm doing the same thing, but mine are flame broiled.
Yeah.
And people started buying from Burger King because they're an alternative, right? So, McDonald's comes out with a value meal. Burger King has a value. McDonald's comes out with a dollar menu. Wendy's has a dollar menu. Chick-fil-A has a dollar menu, right? You start to see the things that work really well. That's where you want to go ahead and snatch some of those different things and take advantage of them. And then once you do that, now you can, once you're in the game, once you're making money, once you're generating sales, now you can start to be more original. Now you can start remixing. Now you have a little bit of breathing room to let your creativity come out because you're making money. Like being creative and broke is not fun.
Right.
Right. So that's the big key. And that applies for both you guys angles, for you, Eddie, as well as you, Khalil. Big thing that you're gonna want to do first is a process called ecom hacking. Right. So, Khalil, in your case, let's do a
Bowflex, beach bod.
well, so these guys are they're a little bit different. Let me show you the process I like to go through.
Yeah, for sure.
So not cameraman. Cancel. Screen share. All right. All right, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, so Beachbod, Bowflex, right? They're not really your competition right now. There's definitely some things that you can take away from them, from ideas, right, angle wise, but they're not necessarily your direct competition because they're so much further ahead of you, nor are they really drop shipping, right? So a good way to find your direct competition is to start with a product. So when you say, okay, a mid ticket, item that you wanted to potentially drop ship, give me an example of something that you would like to sell, or that one of this
chair.
Say that again.
A Roman chair.
A Roman chair.
Yeah.
Is this a Roman chair here?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, something in this price range is better than 500. If you're looking at stuff, $50, $100 up from there, that's okay. But only having stuff, 500, 1,000, that's going to be hard for you to get in the game. But something like in the hundreds is not as bad. So these are all different Roman chairs, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a look at fitness factor. Okay. So I don't think that this is a drop shipper, but again, you can start to see who is actually advertising. What I always like to see is who's actually paying to advertise. And then you can only tell because it'll have ads, right? You can see ads. So Hey Needle, Kohl's. So now you're competing with Dick's. You have some other heavy hitters that are showing up
Yeah.
in Google, right? So you want to, when it comes to paying to advertise, right, it's good to be able to find the path of least resistance, right? So if you know that something like a Roman chair, people are buying it, but you know that you're having to maybe bid against like a Google, or excuse me, but like an Overstock or a Dick's, people are just throwing money at it, then this may not be the best of launch products, right?
The bids are at the top bid is at 42 cents a click for top page bids. So they're actually pretty low for something specific like Roman chair. So they're actually under 50 cents per click.
How much traffic are they getting monthly?
10,000 to 100,000. So the average from just kind of what I've been looking at, the average clicks per sale is around 150 clicks. So with that math, at 42 cents a click, $42, 150 clicks, you're spending around $63 per sale
for $100 product.
Some of them, when I was looking at it more around I was looking at the higher end. I saw more around 300 or so. But even still, even if you spent $63 to make, whatever you made, 43 or 53. But
So
what I was looking at was around $300 products.
Okay, so they get more specific.
Yeah.
So what you want to do when it comes to zeroing in on your competition, right? I want you to find 3 to 5 competitors, not Dick's, not Kohl's, right? But actual competitors. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you out a sales hacking cheat sheet, and this can show you how to find different Shopify stores and different ways to kind of zero in and find people.
Okay.
And that'll be really, really useful, because once you know what their sites are, then you can use sites like Moat and look at what their advertising is. You can take a look at their ads. We can use things like SimilarWeb to find out what what type of ads they're running, what their
that's dope.
Yeah, you can see what their competitors look like. You can find people that are like them. So,
and you said I can differentiate by the ones who have the ads at the right.
Yeah, you want to go after people that are paying to advertise because they have skin in the game. Like, I don't like just oh yeah, I heard of someone. If someone doesn't have skin in the game, then I'm less apt to take a look at their advertising or look at their sales models, because when people have skin in the game and they're paying to advertise, that they want to make sure that every dime counts.
Yeah.
Right. Every dime counts. So let's say, what are we, Dick's Sporting Goods? So this is sites like SimilarWeb. You can find your competition. Now this is running a lot slower because I'm doing a screen share. See? Sportswear, equipment, apparel, footwear. So these are, now Dick's is someone I would pay attention to, right? They're not necessarily your direct competition, but they are someone that you can pay attention to when it comes to different sales, how they're structuring things, what type of copy they are using on their product pages, on their category pages. You can really start to get a look. So obviously,
so it shows where they're targeting their marketing and everything.
Yeah, man. Work smart, not hard. So
that's dope.
So you can see they're heavy on search marketing.
Do we market? Does drop shipping go to Canada at all?
Yeah, you can drop. I mean, that's going to depend on your supplier, right? I can't answer where you can ship to. Your supplier is going to answer that.
Okay.
Right. I've found that conversions are cheaper overseas than in the States, in the sense of like the UK, the EU, like South Africa, in some cases Canada is good. The US is just a little bit more expensive, but you can still you can still get a lot from. So just you can see where they get a lot of the traffic from. So obviously you see that they're paying for AdWords, that's search, right? But they also have some direct, so that means people are direct linking to them. They are running some display ads, so that means that we could probably Moat.com is something I used to be able to take a look at what type of display ads or Google ads that people are running. And then once you start to see, what their ads look like, you can see what their marketing messages look like. You can really start to see.
That's crazy.
Work smart, not hard, player. This right here, what I'm showing you. So okay, yep, 3,000. There you go. All right. So what I'm showing you right now, what I just showed you right here, how to actually reverse engineer and sales hack. Right, this is worth more than the cost of the program.
Like, this is crazy. Like,
this is worth more than the
I
cost
can
of
see all the ads that all my peers in competition are running and see what's effective.
Yeah, the one people that are worth their salt. Yeah.
So does it actually tell me? Does it actually show how successful they are? Does it actually show the numbers on their ads?
It won't show that because they'll get in trouble with that. But this shows you what their ads look like. So now you can get messaging, right? You can see if you start, you see, hey, golf clubs, right? Like you can see how they're positioning what. This again, this is just one example. But you know, once you start to zero in on who you're who's advertising, who your competition is, you can start to see more about what their ads look like. You can go and find them on Facebook. Facebook is a really good way to track down your competition. So let's just say share. Yeah, most people don't even know the power of you know, the Facebook search tool, but Facebook's got a crazy crazy good search interface where you can really find you know, you can reverse engineer what people are doing, what people are advertising on Facebook. It's really it's not fair.
That's crazy.
It's good that most people don't know, but yeah, you just go to Facebook.
Yeah, for real.
You go to their search bar, and
this is almost cheating.
It is cheating. That's why I call it. That's why I call it ecom hacking. Because I like to work smart. I like to start ahead of the curve, right? So okay, you see this. Let's see type of posts people have. Have you ever tried? Oh, have you ever tried a back extension with a? It looks like I bet you we just found a competitor of yours.
Squat University. I like that.
See what we did here?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at them. I bet you this is somebody you can get something from. Author of the Squat Bible.
Author of the Squat Bible.
He's selling stuff.
So you're putting out content and videos of his training. So he's not necessarily, I don't think he's selling product. Looks like he's maybe selling programs. And
you see this tab down here? Info and ads. Let's see what you sell.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're selling. Snatch balance. So that's an IG ad. You're seeing they aren't running ads. So he's running it out on that. They were also doing a post. So this shows you you can look at what active ads people are running. It won't show you their old ones. So that might have been an older one. But again, this is you can see what they did ad wise. So you can once you start to do searches and you can start to see what your competition is, right? Then you can start to you can look for them on Moat, see if they have ads. You can look for them on Facebook, see what type of posts. It's good to start with a product, and then you can go from the product. You can go into Facebook and you can see Russian twist trainer app. Crunches, EJ the trainer. So there's a lot of trainers that are doing stuff for the Roman chair, and they're showing you exercises. So
this is. What if you type in "buy Roman chair" or something like
that? Bodycraft.
Oh, another question I had for you then. When it comes to things like Google, what would you suggest is the minimum amount of searches per month?
Say that again.
What would you say? What would you say is the minimum amount of searches per month you should have? Let's say if we're assuming 150, clicks per per sale and so forth. With those kind of numbers, what would you say is the minimum amount of searches that you should have?
I go more on, I don't really go by how many search, I'll look, and if something has more than 1,000 a month, then I'll pay attention to it. Right.
Yeah,
but I
was thinking.
I don't normally pay super close attention to Google AdWords because I don't use Google AdWords. I'll use Google Display. I'll use Google Shopping, which basically once you load it, Google is going to find, people that are like it anyway. Versus Google search, where you're worried more about keyword volume and keyword, and so on and so forth. That to me is just very slow. But long story short, once you start to actually zero in and find, you can start to find your competition. You can start to see what they're selling, right? So this is just Roman chair, right? There's other examples. You want to be able to find people that are selling it. You don't want to be the first drop shipper on the block, right? That's a sure sign of like, hey, maybe.
Yeah, you want some competition. That means people are buying.
Exactly. So you want to be able to try to find some of your competition that are not necessarily, big established brands like a Dick's, but also smaller brands that are doing something similar. So you can be an alternative, right? And then that makes it that much easier for you to that way it makes it easier for you to kind of come in and be an alternative, and you can take advantage of like a buyer's market or people that are already kind of primed to buy, right? So you see like kitchen gadgets, now you can start to see, okay, hey, like now you're dealing with more drop shippers, more people that have like you can look at their stores and say, okay, hey, I can tell what you are. Like, yeah. Like this is...
yeah, that almost looks like Shoptimize, honestly.
Yeah, there's a drop shipper problem.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily updated, but look, they're running Google Shopping ads, right?
Yeah.
So go do a Google search on your buying keywords and look at who is paying to advertise on them. That'll give you an idea who some of your competition is. Take a look at them, see what they're selling. Look on Facebook. As I mentioned, I'm going to send you a link with like a cheat sheet with just some different ecom hacking stuff to help you, zero in on your competition. But that's going to be a big thing, right? Zeroing in on them, so that way you can start to figure out who's selling what, and that will really help. Oh, I see this. I see this guy's a similar competition. Mike, I see that his bestseller is this type of weighted ball that ties to their waist and is ergonomic.
Will it show that? It'll show their top sellers.
Well, most of the time, if they have like dynamic filters on their website or on their store itself, they'll tell you what their top seller is. They'll say, hey, my top buyer, my most popular thing is.
I got you. I was about to say, man, at that point you're almost Big Brother.
I'm all about that. I mean, like, listen, you're not here to play the game fair, all right? If you're looking to, do everything by our bootstraps, this isn't that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to be unethical or cheat in any way, shape, or form, but what I am telling you is to work smart, not hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I mean, really, you're giving things that are technically available to everybody.
Yes, but most people don't know how to look for them. Right? So, workout equipment for men. Amazon will tell you what their top sellers are.
True.
Always moving their shit. Sort by featured. And then Amazon is a really good place to look and see what is working or what your competition might be doing, because a lot of drop shippers are on Amazon or Amazon FBA. If you're looking at any type of e-commerce stuff, I know you've been targeted by people that have shown you stuff for Amazon FBA.
Amazon. Yeah.
Yep. Amazon FBA is just people that are Amazon FBA is literally just people that are, you know, able to meet Amazon shipping. Yeah, they're storing it, and then, you know, they're shipping it to Amazon. They're buying, you know, so for example, if you're on Amazon, Amazon FBA, you find something you know is going to be a good seller, and then you buy enough of it in advance, you send it to Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon. So you send it to their warehouse. So I say I buy 500 of these things right here, right? And then I send them to Amazon's warehouse, and then Amazon fulfills them, and then suddenly it's fulfillment by Amazon. But you'll find a lot of drop shippers.
What's the benefit of, why do people choose that over just drop shipping?
Because Amazon has a built-in marketplace.
Oh, they're just basically riding off of Amazon's credibility. Basically.
Yeah, man. It's like, you know, why put a store in the mall? Because the mall has its own foot traffic.
I got you. That makes sense.
Right. So you can, but yeah, that's, again, start looking at, you know, sporting goods, start looking at what their most popular are, what their best sellers are. And that's going to start to give you an idea what type of products to start with. Right. That's going to give you an idea who your competition is. So once you start to get an idea of who your competitors are, again, I would say really you want to find 5 competitors, right? Okay. So that's not Kohl's. That's like, you know, smaller stores or medium-sized stores. And once you check out the resource I'm going to send you, you'll find it'll be that much easier for you. But there's a process that you'll go through with that, right? Once you know them, then it's easier to go back and use that value proposition worksheet that's in module 1 and go through some of those exercises, because you can say, well, you know, I know who my target market is, right? You worked on that last week. Then you say, okay, well, I see what the competition is. Now my value proposition is I'm this, or it's a little bit different with me, right? Here's my angle, right? We're flame broiled. I sell hamburgers too, but mine are flame broiled. That's Burger King's value proposition, simple as it is.
So now this week we got to narrow down on what my particular value proposition is.
Yeah, man. Well, once you know who your competition is, it's going to make your life is going to be so much easier just knowing what else is out there, knowing who is selling to people that you want to sell to, what they're selling them, how they're structuring their pages. You know, once we know who they are, we can start to we can look and see what they're advertising, where they're advertising. We can find all their stuff.
Yeah.
So the key is to know who, if you want to go and sell dope on the block, you need to know who's selling dope on the block right now.
That's true.
It is, man. You don't want to walk into any situation blind. Once you have that, you know, it's good. You already have a Shopify setup. So then once you know that who your competition is, then it'll be easier for us to this guy, Eddie, don't fit the stereotype, mister, because clearly you have the you know, dreadlocks. All right. Please don't be that guy, Eddie.
What do you say? I can't see him.
No, you said true SMH. Golf clubs. Yes. Oh, I just saw your message, Eddie. Yes, golf clubs would be. Golf clubs are. People buy, man, that is a category in and of itself. If you said, hey, Mike, I want to sell golf stuff, I'd be like, shit. Let me slap my name on that too. Because I don't care about golf at all, but there are some people that are so passionate about golf. And then you just go and you target people that like no-name golfers, like B-list golfers, not Tiger, but like B-list people that nobody's heard of.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
There you go. Same thing, right? Like you can take that same. You want to find fanatics. Fanatics buy stuff, right? So once you know who your competition is, Khalil, then it'll be easier to say, okay, here's my competition. Here's what they're selling. Here's what they're doing. There's different apps we can use. Like, man, I don't want to throw too much at you at once, but we can literally, there's things we can use that can actually like identify on the site. And it's like something you can add to your Chrome, and it can help you find out what their best sellers are. Like, it's crazy what you can do. Yeah.
Send that to me.
Find some competition first, right? Some people that are selling what you'd like to sell. and then we can reverse engineer from there. And like I said, I'm going to send you a cheat sheet that'll help you zero in on them, but that's going to be a big key. Once you have that, then as you can see just in module 1, we literally walk you through your value proposition, how you're going to set up your home page, how you're going to set up your category page, the core store architecture, those are that stuff is straightforward, right? Once you know what you're going to sell. See, now when you say, hey, I'm selling to Blake, Blake's making 75 G's a year, Blake is into XYZ. Now I can go over to, Moat, and I can see, oh, well, such and such is selling stuff to, to Blake, right? What type of messages are they using, right? And now you can find headlines, right? Driven by design. Like you can find headlines, how you're gonna, wherever you explore, gear up, right? Legendary warmth. Like you can find, copy writes itself, right? Find the right bat for your game. It'll write itself once you know what they're saying and where. That's actually the easier part, right? Especially when you look at what they're doing, you look at their setup, you can take a look at their ads, and you can take it back from there.
Definitely.
Okay, so that's going to be a big key. Obviously, you're still in module 1. Now, when it comes to some of those core store architecture pages, you can start if you already have your store, you can start putting together some of that stuff right now. You don't have to wait until we've, zeroed on exactly who the, your 5 biggest competitors are. You can start piecing together those right away. So that way your store is going to be that much closer to being ready to open. Once you kind of have some of those core store architecture pages up, and those are listed on the worksheet that we talk about those in the module. Once you have those core store architecture pages up, we polish up your home page. We load some different products onto your site. They're available to buy.
I could definitely use some help with the architecture and where to put what. I think I sent you one link, but if you don't mind, I'd like to at least send you the link to the initial site that I have. Most of it is still template stuff. But I could definitely use some help, like especially on the main page, on what to put in certain spots. I want to remove kind of some of the things like the timer off the product pages. I want to remove that, but I could definitely use help with some of the architecture stuff.
Well, yeah, we can do a walkthrough of that on a call, just kind of go through some of that together.
Yeah.
But, when you say, well, what do I want to say in this box? Well, when you know what your competition is saying, it becomes easier. What type of imagery do I want to use, right? Like, what type of messaging what would, stand out, right? You can start to piece, you can Frankenstein stuff.
True.
Right. So once you know who your competition is, what you're just saying there, like, oh, how do I organize this? It'll become easier because you would look at how people are successfully doing it. And then there is also the homepage blueprint, the category page blueprint. So the overall structure, and then what some of the messaging that your competition is using. Then it's just tweaking it and then plugging it in, and then suddenly, hey, hey, I'm in the game. Mike, I don't know what I should sell people. Well, what is Burger King selling people? They're selling hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, milkshakes, and they have value meals. Do you sell those yet? No. Okay, sell those first, right? And then we'll expand from there. All right. So that'll be a really, really quick way. And again, one of the reasons I say try to find, products that, you can find people advertising for, because, chances are those are ones you can get traction with. People are searching for, people are ready to buy, people are impulsive. They're already seeing ads for somebody else maybe selling it. So that way you can come around and sell them the same thing.
Definitely.
Okay. So start to work on that. And then, as I mentioned, once you kind of have those down, we can review some of the competition together. Then it'll be much easier for us to pivot over into the actual homepage setup. Don't worry about how you're structuring your homepage and the category page yet. Don't worry, and the product pages. Don't worry about that yet. Worry about like your about us. Put some placeholder content in, like the contact privacy policy, stuff that you can pretty much kind of copy and paste from different places.
And kind of put it together.
Exactly. Start plucking some of those elements from different. Oh, this guy's got a good about us page. This is a good contact. This is a good privacy. This is a good shipping details, right? Those are the core store architecture. If you refer to the core store architecture cheat sheet, it actually goes, hey, these are the pages that you want to have. You want to make sure that you have at least these pages. So don't worry about customizing the home page or the category page yet. Don't worry about the product pages because you don't have products yet, right? But you do need to want to find out who your top competitors are. Find some of them, and as soon as you have that, then because you're looking at some different suppliers. Most of the time, suppliers are going to want to see that you already have a store before they'll approve you, right?
Yeah,
so
they look at a demo, like maybe a demo store.
Exactly, right? So you can take images, you can take stuff, you can start to pull some of those elements over just so you can show them, hey, look, I want to be able to sell this. This is what the store setup looks like. And that's why I say having that core store architecture in place makes a difference.
Okay. I've actually I sent you the link to the website. I've started, just like you said, like putting different products from different potential suppliers already in to gear towards that. I've kind of started that process, so.
All right, boom. All right. Yeah, and so okay, boom, we've got some of these in here. So, in this case, you can take, let's say one of these treadmills, and then you do a Google search of the treadmill, see who's advertising on that treadmill. Right? Who might be selling a, manual treadmill. And then you can start to see who's advertising on it. And from there, well, if you're advertising on it, you can, go through the exact same process, I was just showing you, and then you can start to zero in. All right.
Yeah.
Now, and then boom. Yep, already some people here. Target, Walmart, Amazon, Hey Needle, best reviews. Yeah. So again, you'll notice that some of these are you only competing with like some of the bigger names. So again, just kind of be prepared. So these people have a partnership with
You mind sharing your screen so I can see what you're looking at?
No, I just did a search through the treadmills, and then I was seeing that they have Soul Fitness. They have a few other people on there. Okay. So you're probably going to want to sprinkle in some lower ticket stuff, or not lower ticket, but just some bestsellers. You can look on AliExpress. You can see even if you're not going to sell it from Ali, you can still see what AliExpress bestsellers are like in the fitness category. And then from there, you can see what type of price range they're in. You can check to see if one of your domestic suppliers might have it. And then boom, you are providing something that people like. And now you're also getting it from a vendor that's going to give you shipping and fulfillment details that you're comfortable with.
Sure.
Right.
Here's kind of what I did initially. And you let me know what your thoughts are on this. What I did was how I whittled this down to narrow it down more effectively. I found, now I didn't just look at treadmills, but I looked at specific. My thought process was most likely, and obviously these are generalizations, but most likely somebody who's has more intent to buy is not just going to search a treadmill. They're going to have certain specifics or features to search when they're more ready to buy. Like if I'm going to buy, like you said, golf clubs, I'm not just going to search golf clubs. If I'm a fanatic, I'm going to search the 12-piece whatever. So what I did for treadmills, as opposed to just searching out treadmills, I researched a specific treadmill with a certain amount of searches and a certain level of top bid. One being like what's known as a Weslow Cadence treadmill. This is something that has over 1,000 searches a month, and the cost per click is 40 cents. So my thought process was I can piggyback based off of people searching a Weslow Cadence treadmill for whatever style treadmill that is similar that I can have from my suppliers to maximize the less competition and the lower cost to advertise to still get the same result. Does that make sense?
I see the thought process behind it. This is something different. So I can understand the thought process behind, hey, going after, those keywords like that. Just keep in mind you're not necessarily using search, right? So that can help you finding products, but you want to make sure that you are going into something where you can see where your competition is and what they're offering, right? And you want to be able to, especially when you're just getting started, that's going to help you zero in. You want to find things that are, that are good sellers, because keep in mind, you're talking about a treadmill that's, $500, $600, $700. Yes, maybe someone does have high buying intent, when they search that specific one. But then think about how much trust it requires to spend $500-$600 with someone, right? Just because you're an option for the $600 treadmill that they liked doesn't mean that they're just going to buy it from you on impulse. So that's where, engaging them, that's where kind of having your claws in them a little earlier start to come into play. Because, when you have something that is more high ticket like that, it's harder to get the conversion. Retargeting is going to come into play. Like, they're not going to just show up on your site and then that's it. They're going to come, you show it to them. Oh, I've seen you. Now I'm going to bring you back with a retargeting ad later. Right. And then by the time you come back, or if I get you while you're here looking at it, hey, grab this coupon for 10% off this thing. Grab this coupon for 15% off. Oh, save $15 off your first order with me. You like this. Hey, whoa, I'm looking at this. I see the price compared to everybody. This guy's giving me $15 off if I, join his email list. Sure, I'll join his email list to get the coupon. Right. Bam. Now you have emails going out to them. He's probably not going to just drop $600 today. But because now you've got his email address, maybe you chip away at him, got retargeting ads. He gets an email from you. He sees an ad from you over here. Bang, suddenly he's ready to buy. You're right there. There's a little more trust because he has more exposure to you than I've just seen you one time. I'm going to buy from you because you have what I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So again, zero in on those 5 competitors. Focus more on the core story, like, the trust building pages, your about us, right? Your contact, get those peripheral core star pages out of the way. And then we can circle back to the home page and your category pages and your product pages. Once we kind of see how the approach some of your competition is taking, and we can see what some of their best sellers are. And that way we can say, okay, hey, look, we're going to go live with something like that. This is going to be a starter product, because really want to have at least 3 to 5 products to start with, right? Because you want to try to zero in on a winner.
For sure.
All right. So definitely focus on getting those. Again, don't worry about the product, the home, and the category, but all the other core star architecture pages, focus on getting those done. They don't have to be perfect. Don't try to perfect the language. Don't try to get it just right. Literally just kind of copy and paste some stuff that you like to make sure that you have it kind of filled in for, Gimme Nation. Do you already have?
I'm switching the name on that, by the way. But so structure the about, review 5 competitors to structure about us page.
Yeah. So here, I'm going to send you on. Yeah, you want to have the 5 ones, the 5 competitors. And then, as I mentioned before, I'm going to send you over the cheat sheet for the ecom hacking. And then go ahead and complete the core store architecture pages. And then take a stab at your value proposition. Because once we have some of those basic building blocks in place, it's a lot faster, or it's a lot easier to knock out some of the other stuff pretty quickly. All right, Eddie, I see that you had a question in here. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Here, Eddie, I'm going to unmute you. Or actually, no, you are muted. So could you unmute yourself? There we go. Okay.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
No, I was just saying that so like with the higher ticket items like treadmill, I forget what was the thing called, Khalil? Roman?
I don't think Khalil can hear you.
Anyways, like the road, like the higher ticket items, perhaps we can have kind of like with the course we what do you call it, splitter it. You can have like I don't know, like leggings, and then maybe like the little martial art things, spar bars, or or kind of elastic things, and then go spar bar, and then go to the Roman and programs. You know what I mean? Like I think the programs will build that trust while also having like smaller ticket items that people can buy right now, and then at the end, kind of like boom, here's a Roman whatever. You know what I mean? And a spar bar.
Yeah, me typically, I like, again, our store, we have low and mid ticket. Obviously I've done a lot of stuff with like kind of higher ticket items, but when you're just getting started, I do like having something that, at least a few things that are somewhat impulsive, so you can start to get some traction. Something under $100, just so you can kind of get your, you can generate some type of traction, give something to people. And on top of that, when you have lower ticket items, let's say that someone is buying this treadmill, right? Well, if you don't have any other low ticket items on there, you can't really effectively add anything to their cart, right? It's, hey, grab this treadmill, buy, right? But if you have some other cheaper stuff, then that's stuff that you can use to add to your cart. But that again is why I say find people in the market selling these type of products to your audience.
See what they're doing.
Right, because you're guessing, right? Oh, I want to do this, and here's my logic. Here's the logic behind the reason I did that, and I think it should work, right? Well, that's no. That's too much guessing involved when my money's on the line, from my perspective. And, I assume that you probably have the same type of feeling about it, right? Like, who's selling it? What are they selling? What angles are they taking to sell it? Can I jump into their market as an alternative? Once you're buying from me, now I can start to sell you other stuff. Now I know that, well, I know you're not doing one-click upsells. I know you don't have email automation. I know you don't have all these other things that I can add to it. So I'm going to make more money than you. But don't reinvent the wheel. So that's why I say, Cleo, major thing. Now that you're kind of getting an idea, okay, hey, I want to sell this, right? You zeroed on what you want to sell. You know who you want to sell it to. Now you need to find who the competition is that are selling to those people right now. Not necessarily the Dick's Sporting Goods or these other bigger names, but some of the smaller names, right? Once you just knowing who's out there selling medium ticket workout gear is going to make you so much more confident, make you feel so much more comfortable with what you're doing, and it's going to take a lot of guesswork out of it.
Sure.
Right? Flame broiled, not fried.
Hashtag.
Oh God, it's getting. Hey, again, obviously you guys are.
Do what you gotta do.
No, technically you guys are the like you're one student technically, but obviously you two have very different angles. If possible, Eddie, it's getting a little bit later. Could you and I just follow up one-on-one at some point in time, maybe tomorrow afternoon, to talk about where your progress is with your angle? Because I wanted to go over that today, but I really wanted to make sure I could kind of get Khalil going on some of this stuff to get the ball rolling. That works. Okay. So here, let me send you a text in the morning because I'm doing some video shoots for the webinar I have coming up on the 14th. So I'm actually going to send you guys both an invite. I hope that both of you can join me for my live webinar March 14th. It's called How to Build Your First Six-Figure E-commerce Store Without Wasting Time on Social Media or SEO. So a big chunk of what I cover on there is, again, sales hacking. We also talk about email automation and paid advertising. It's a lot of stuff we're going to be doing anyway, but just being on the webinar and getting that kind of condensed information, I think will be helpful to both of you. So I'd encourage you to try to join, and I'll send you both invites.
What time is it on March 14th?
7 p.m. It's Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I may have to. I have church on Thursdays at 7:30.
My goodness.
Will there be a will it be recorded?
Am I a marketer?
Huh?
Am I a marketer?
Touche. Good point.
Come on, man. Yeah, there's gonna be a 72-hour replay with come down. I have the whole. I got a setup for it. You'll see the marketing behind it. And some of this stuff, in your case, Eddie, will probably be useful just so you can start to see kind of how to do, well, you've done some of this stuff before. Let's chat one-on-one tomorrow. That way I can get a better idea of where you're at, especially if we're doing a little bit different angle on your stuff. And I want to make sure you guys have a good foundation to roll with. And then, as we start to expand, at least we know you're in the right place. Khalil, find your competition, man. Once you do that, I'm telling you, everything you're going to do is going to be 10 times easier. Ecom hacking is the most beautiful thing in the world when it comes to e-commerce. Find them, I'll show you how to flip it. Right. So, like I said, Eddie, I'll shoot you a text tomorrow. We'll collaborate. We'll find a time we can talk. And then, again, if you have any other questions, Khalil, shoot me ideas via email with the same subject line as I mentioned before, so I can kind of keep an eye on your progress. As you start to find your competition, shoot them to me so I can say, okay, it is a good one, that's not a good one, and that way we can really help you move along.
Okay, I'll send you a lump email with what I come up with. Should receive that in the next 48 hours.
Awesome, do that. All right, well, I will talk to you guys. Eddie, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Khalil, I'll look forward to your email. And then, as I mentioned before, I'm going to send you out an ecom cheat sheet. I already have one saved just for the program itself. I just want to doctor it up because it's going to be in a later module. So, but I'll send it over to you guys in the AM, and then we'll take it from there.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night.
Mike about to pass out.
Oh, it's late, man. I haven't even eaten yet. It's going to be a long night. All right, good night, fellas.